Everybody, thanks for watching. Now, this is my last video before I leave this location. I just wanted to really touch base on what we've been seeing around the country concerning Donald Trump and the deportation and the detainment of refugees. And it's something that is really a big deal here in California. There's so many people at the airport right now. They're blocking the airport. And one of the things that the news is not covering is the amount of cops that is in Skid Row right now. Just went through there, and they are really hassling the homeless out there and checking IDs and everything like that to see who belongs here. But I want people to understand, one, that, Donald Trump basically, just proved my point further with his executive orders. Now, I said before, if Obama wanted to change anything in the administration, he could just, have signed an executive order. And we see that that's exactly what Trump has done. And you have to understand the power of an executive order, and it gives the president to basically, ignore Congress and go over Congress and sign his whatever he really wants to sign into law. So the Senate can block it. They can appeal it up to the Supreme Court. And it'll be up to the Supreme Court to go ahead and decide, what is constitutional or not. Now, understand one, as I always talk about, I want you to understand the misdirection of the American media and how they are playing against this whole thing. Now, anytime you have the American people following the narrative of the media, it's not good. That means you got to look at something that's probably covering up the truth. They are doing something for a reason. You have the media really on Trump's back, and you have American people on Trump's back. We should never be following what the media is following. So now, for good reason, the American people are upset with Trump, in light of the things we have been seeing. Now, the main thing we need to be watching out for and paying attention to is the Senate. What is the Senate saying? What is Congress saying? What is the narrative there? Now, Trump is completely going against, one, what America stands for, and he is obviously going against the majority of the American people. You got to understand how this thing is being played out, how it was set up. One, you had Hillary win the popular vote, meaning more people voted for Hillary. But you had Donald Trump win, the Electoral College giving him, the presidency. So this is creating a separation in the country where it seems more like, you have half of the country divided. You have half for Trump and half against Trump. But a lot of people in the last 24 hours have been changing their mind about Trump. And I've seen a lot of tweets and a lot of comments on Facebook from people who voted for Trump who said, my God, what have we done? So he's actually talking about going forward with building a wall. We understand that. And you can see what he has done so far as banning these people from coming into the country. Now, the reason why we got to pay attention to Senate and Congress, because it is clear that Donald Trump is not fit to be president, and he is really a dangerous person to be left in office as president. He's a danger to America. He's a danger to its people. And we can see how this is going to it's going to lead to a war, obviously. So the thing is, will the Senate look at this and look at the actions of Trump, look at the fact that the majority of America, the majority of the country and people around the world who are protesting against Trump obviously don't want this one man in the White House, as the American president? Will they then step up and go forward with proceedings to not just impeach Trump, but to get him dismissed from office? This is what we need to look for. And if the Senate is not going to do that, we got to consider that suspect, because to me, this is an agenda that is being pushed, and Trump is just continuing an agenda that has been set up, and they're executing it. Any sane senator or congressman would definitely move and push for a motion to impeach this man and to get him out of office. And I think that, most of America would support that. Will we see that happen? That is the question. The problem is the protests. The protests at the airport, the protest is, I mean, it's cool that they're going down there to help out the people that's been detained and stuff like that. But the protests need to be in front of the office of the Senate, the senators in your state, and the congressmen in your state. It should be a bunch of people out there, maybe, and the news just not reporting on that. But that's how you get things done. If we are not marching in front of the Senate, in front of the senators, in front of the congressmen, the people who can actually make the change, nothing is going to happen. And it's a lot of people who don't care. Some people think it's good that they get these refugees out of here. It's better for America. But majority of the people do not. And we can see that it's a dangerous game that he is playing, Donald Trump, and angering a lot of these Islamic countries, which we know how false flags happen in this country. And this would give them a really good excuse to launch a false flag attack on America and blame it on some Islamic country, so Trump can just say, "See, I told you." Now, Trump has supporters at the airport and at a lot of these rallies that's actually supporting the refugees being deported and not being allowed into the country. They're walking around with signs that say, refugee equals terrorist and stuff like that. So, it's creating a huge separation between the people who obviously are against Trump and are for Trump. But at the same time, they are continually, pushing this whole racial narrative with Trump and not just with African Americans, but, just anybody of color. So we can see the divide and conquer that's going on. It has been going on for a long time. You had now recently the woman who accused Emmett Till of whistling at her. I just seen on Facebook, supposedly came out and said that, he didn't do it, and if that's true, that's crazy. So that's another debate that's being sparked up. It could not be true, but, it's something that I'm looking at as something that they would do, that they would put out there to further fuel black people and get them talking about something different. So, we can see what they pushing towards and, building a wall. What is that going to do? What is that about, that whole wall to separate Mexico, to block the border? And not only is that going to keep people from coming from Mexico into America, but if something was to go down in America to where, it is martial law and it is people trying to flee the country, we wouldn't be able to go into Mexico or into Canada, with this wall and with these border laws. So we got to pay attention to what's taking place and all the moves that is being put in place to basically, for them to execute whatever plan that they're trying to execute. And people need to be real attentive to what Congress is talking about, the moves that Trump is making, and what the media is talking about. So we've seen a tweet from Donald Trump talking about if the black people in Chicago don't get it together, he was basically going to, send people in there. And, we know that can cause martial law. Who knows what's going to happen if that happens. So he basically threatened, saying if it's more murders and killings in Chicago, something is going to be done about it. So, again, this is going to spark that argument, and people are going to say, well, that's a good idea. But we got to look past that and see what that whole thing is really about. And obviously, we know it's not about helping the black community. When you look at CNN and look at a lot of these shows that's coming on CNN and pay attention to the narrative, what a lot of people is talking about, you usually have somebody coming on there talking to somebody who is in support of Donald Trump. They're either arguing about that person being racist or something that Donald Trump said, or Donald Trump being racist, and, the people who have supported him and stuff like that. The argument is going to continue to be about race. I mean, it's clear that Donald Trump is driving the country apart. He ran on just that very thing. He's keeping his word, it looks like, as far as building a wall and, not allowing Muslims into the country or what have you. So, again, the way we're going to figure out how this is all bullshit, that this is all a setup, is the actions of the Senate and what they will do. This is obvious, ludicrous behavior on the part of an American president, and it shouldn't be allowed by the Senate. And the Senate should be looking to block this building of the wall. They should not allocate any monies to it. They should not definitely be supporting anybody being detained at the airport, or not allowing people in from these Arab countries to come in when they got to get screened anyway. They got to go through a rigorous progress to even get the visas and everything to come into the country. And they obviously can't bring stuff into the country. So, everything that is done to basically protect the people is done. If a person wants to do something as far as terrorism, which we understand for those of us who are in the know who the real terrorist is, it's fucking America. It's this government who is, doing all the false flags anyway. So we know that, all the stuff is bullshit. The fear of the so-called president who is doing this stuff to say that it's to protect the American people, and you have gullible people believing that this is the case when we know that the false flag, the Al Qaeda, the ISIS is all this America, and these people who is running, the powers that be who is running everything. We know it's them. We understand that. But you have people who don't, who actually believe in the process and believe in the American president, who believe what the media says, who are brainwashed by this stuff. And they think that this man is actually helping the country when, we can see that he is dragging it down. He is destroying the credibility, the name of America. And luckily, you have people all over the world who are in support of the protest that's going on here in America. And, they stand in with the people and what's right. So, again, this is dangerous. And what they have planned, whether they execute it or not, is going to depend on the actions of the American people and the reaction to whatever Donald Trump does and the reaction to what the media puts out. So people better be awake and understand what they're trying to do and what's going on. It's tough to see right now and to see what direction he's going in. And one of the key things that I picked up on today was the amount of police that was down Skid Row today here in LA, and how they was really, going after the homeless like that. Again, that might be something they might, if you've seen the news here in LA, if you live in LA, you've seen on the news today, they was talking about the guy who got shot on Skid Row. And that was their reason to have all those cops down there. We don't know if it was the actual shooting or what have you, but it gave them an excuse. And we know how they use excuses to go out and execute shit. It was an excuse for them to be all over Skid Row downtown and to be asking these homeless people for green cards and for ID and identification. It was an excuse. So that's something to pay attention to as well. Remember, I was talking about before in the previous video how to purge. That movie is basically telling you what they want to do. They want to get rid of the homeless. They want to get rid of the poor. So Donald Trump saying that he's basically going to go into Chicago and basically do something about the killing in Chicago or what have you. There's other ways to do that. And now this stuff with the homeless, there's other ways to basically see what's going on with them. They should have been helped these people, by the way. So these are things we got to pay attention to. We are distracted by this whole refugee thing, and rightfully so. And what the Senate does is really going to tell us what's going to happen next. So I'm looking at the reaction of people from not just here in LA, from all over America and the world. For the most part, it has been a good reaction by the people, as far as a lot of people are waking up and seeing past the bullshit. There's a lot of people out there screaming false flag attack coming, and watch out for Trump, and what are they going to do next? Everybody, be vigilant. So it's a lot of people I can see, for me just, being outside today and looking at these people protest. A lot of people can really see through the bullshit and the lies. And of course, still, you have these religious people out there who are now, they off the Obama prophecy. Just go back and look at all the videos on YouTube. Everybody calling Obama the Antichrist, and Obama is going to be the end of the world and the last president and all this and that. Now they look stupid. And now you have people doing the same thing with Trump, and Trump 666, and Trump is going to bring about the end of the world. And now you have a new September date for something that Trump is going to do, and all kinds of religious stuff that these religious people do. And you got people who voted for Hillary blaming people who didn't vote, and people who voted for Trump saying y'all should have voted as if it would have done something. This is an agenda, as we all know, that was going to be hatched out regardless. This is their plan. They just hatched it, and it is what it is. Until people wake up, we will continue to fall for, they will continue to fall for the media bullshit and this whole agenda that has been going on. But, to me personally, it's only but so much, which is what makes this whole thing weird. It's only but so much that Trump can get away with because people can see through the bullshit. Stuff like this. I mean, look at how many people came out in force today to protest what he has done. I mean, it's only but so much he can do. So if he do anything any more drastic than what he has done so far, then everybody's going to be out there. And I don't know if that's what they want, but it's clearly something that they do not want. And it's clearly something that they can't afford to let happen. It's going to be irresponsible on the part of the Senate and Congress to allow clearly a visual action of the American people saying we don't want this man as president, and you as Congress and as the Senate is supposed to abide by the people's wishes. And the majority of the people, if we was to sign a petition today saying impeach Trump, we would win. So they have to look at the situation and say that, you know what, this man is not fit to run his office. He is a threat to America. The people don't like him. The country is divided because of him. So just based on those actions, on that alone, he should step down, and he should or be impeached or be taken down as the American president, and a new election or something should be done. This dude cannot be here 4 years. America will not last 4 years with Trump as president unless he changes drastically his actions, and we know that's not going to happen. Now, as I always tell y'all, it's up to y'all. It's up to the people to decide what's going to take place. A lot of times we don't realize it, but our actions, what we do and what we put out, the information we put out, determines their direction. And I know a lot of people want to think this stuff is written. It's not. They are influenced by what they can do to us. So when we don't go against it, when we don't go with the programming, when we go against the programming, they have to change their tune. They have to figure something else out. And today was definitely a big, fork, a big wrench and their whole plan and everything. So they're going to have to change the narrative because the people are obviously not going for it. And you see what happened immediately. First, you had this whole deportation of people being detained. Then all of a sudden you have these lawyers come out of nowhere. I mean, come on, y'all. Snap out of it. You know that they would have obviously predicted something like this could possibly happen. So why do it? So they do it to see what they can get away with. So if people didn't come out and, by the thousands to protest this stuff, who knows what would happen? So you have these lawyers all of a sudden, because so many people was protesting, these lawyers come out of, nowhere, and now all of a sudden got this stuff blocked. So yeah, we have to really pay attention to Congress and the Senate and what they're going to do as far as Donald Trump and everything that he is trying to put in place. And again, we was hearing through Obama administration, through his presidency, that, the Republicans was blocking things that he was trying to do and everything like that, as I said before, Obama could have just signed executive orders, just like Trump just did, to have laws passed. So will we see the kind of blockage that Obama saw from the Democrats on Trump and, what's going to take place? What we keep seeing is the Senate keep having these meetings and these committees, and they're cussing out people and they're complaining. And it's WWE, people. It's just a show. They arguing and complaining, they screaming at people. I mean, nothing happens, nothing changes, nothing gets done. He has put people up in office that's clearly not qualified, and they got grilled and have been proven to be unqualified, yet they still get the nomination. They still get the go-ahead to get the job. It was the same thing with Obama, and there was a lot of people that he was putting in that we could see was clearly Wall Street, and a lot of those people got chewed up during the Senate meetings and everything, and they were proven to be basically there for the interests of Wall Street. But what happened, they still got approved. They still got put in office. So again, as I said, it's WWE. They play the game so they can have the footage to put out there to show you that they grilling these people and that they are asking them the tough questions. But at the end of the day, it's not going to stop them from getting that job. So as we can see, Trump is getting his people in office, and they are poised to do whatever it is that the agenda has set for them. So again, the actions of the American people is going to determine how next year will be, how the rest of this year will be as well. So yeah, I'm not that far from downtown, so near Skid Row. You probably heard cops in the background. As I said, I just came from around that area. It's hectic down there. So again, man, we got to pay attention, and people got to wake up and see what's going on, and see what is going to be taking place. What is the direction of Donald Trump? It's too early to tell, but in his first days as president, look what's taking place. So yeah, just a quick video I wanted to put out and get you guys thinking and paying attention and not following the narrative of the news media. The news media is clearly instigating the entire thing. The media is controlling the emotions of the people and are driving the people to act and to react to everything that Trump does and to everything that they say and put out. We are being controlled by the media. A lot of people are marching because of what the media is putting out and because of what they're seeing on TV. So, yeah, we got to really pay attention to the behind the scenes stuff. And the actions of the Senate is going to tell us exactly what's going to take place. We should hear nothing less than this man is unfit to be president. And yeah, I mean, they're going to let him slide. They're going to give him some more chances. And as I said, it's nothing really outrageous that he can do, because we see what the reaction is going to be from the American people. And it's not really much black people at all out there. It's majority is white America who is out there, and they're damn sure not going to do the kind of stuff they do to us to white America. But we're going to see what happens and what takes place, and where this whole thing is leading. Because from my point of view and from me looking at the history of what these people have been doing over the years, this one is weird. This one is like, what are they doing? What are they trying to do? So I'm definitely trying to pay attention to what Trump is talking about and what he's saying he wants to do, and the actions that the Senate take, and the narrative of the news media, because it's going to tell us exactly what the plan really is. So, we're going to see. But yeah, I wanted to make a quick video. This will definitely be my last video from this location. I'm moving. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for supporting me and everybody who bought the DVD. I know the links do not work. That is another way that they silence us on YouTube. If you try to put links up there to some stuff outside of YouTube, a lot of time YouTube will put it up as spam or malware. I called about that, and it was reported. I found out some haters reported the links as being spam and supposed to be malware or going to a spam website. This is what I was told. So, haters gonna hate, but I really thank people for the support, from all over the world, everybody who has supported and have bought the DVD or what have you. As I said, you can go to my website, therealmerkabah.com. Click on the shopping cart if you really want to support. Don't worry about the links. It is what it is. They're gonna block whatever they block. But yeah, I have a lot of new stuff coming from the next location. I'm moving down to Vegas mainly for business. Finish up school online, so I'm not going to be in the country for that much longer. I'll probably be headed back to Sweden in before August. So yeah, I'll be here continuing to do what I do, and again, Saturn Satan 6, the final one will be out in probably like a month or so. Going to take that trip to Kemet. I'm planning it right now, but this will definitely be the last video from this location from here. And yeah, I want to really encourage people to really pay attention to C-SPAN and to what new laws is going to be put in place. Because now you got to remember, whenever you get a new president, watch C-SPAN. Pay attention to what's happening with the Congress, with Senate. Don't pay attention to the bullshit that's on. Watch C-SPAN, because everything that he's trying to pass and get done, look at it. You'll hear about it on C-SPAN. When you look at it, you'll see what they're trying to do. We already know that Trump wants to dismantle a lot of Obama laws, a lot of stuff that he passed. We're going to hear about it on C-SPAN. You're going to see all that stuff on C-SPAN. So pay attention, watch C-SPAN, see what they're trying to put in place. pay attention to the narrative of the news media, not to what they're doing. Just the narrative and what they're talking about, where they're trying to point the conversation to, and just be vigilant and pay attention, because I don't trust these motherfuckers, not for one bit. And I don't know who these cops is that's just blindly following the orders of Trump. And that's something we got to think about too, and we got to worry about. Who are these police? Who are these troops? And is their devotion to the American people, or to what's right and what's wrong, or to just following orders, even if those orders are completely ludicrous. So yeah, it's crazy, what I've been seeing the last couple of days, and what has been allowed. But the bright side is they did go ahead and do exactly what they should have done, was go over Trump's head, and it got approved. So if the judges is going to block crazy stuff like this from Trump and continue to do so, then he won't get nothing passed. Anything crazy that he tries to pass, we should always see exactly what we're seeing. Don't let them give you some excuse that they can't block it. We just seeing them block an executive order. So they kind of blocked it. They delayed it for a little while. It can get overturned or something can change with it. But we've seen it happen. And it's up to the people to decide what happens with this country. And they want to give you the illusion that it's half of the country versus half of the country based on the outcome of the polls. But we can see clearly the majority of the people is against Trump, and majority of the people want him gone. So we'll see what happens. So if Congress is not going to do it, if they're not doing what's best for the people, then we need to be in front of their office. Forget being at the airport. You need to be in front of your congressman's office, in front of your senator's office in your state. That's where the large bulk of the protests should be at. And a lot of people don't understand that. All the marching that we do, forget that. We need to be at the congressman's office, at the senator's office, because they are the ones who can make the actual change. So, that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.